Hi again, this is Connor, and in this lecture of the What to Learn section, we're going to focus on what's known as the question answer reflex. Now, in the last lecture, we finished with the question, how do I organize information in a way that will allow me to learn what I need to learn so that I can get the grade that I need to get in my Leaving Cert exam? And in this lecture, we're going to answer that question by introducing you to the question answer reflex. Now, before we do that, let's take a quick look at what not to do if you want to save time and get the highest grade that you can in your exams. Now, remember, we've been through these already. These are what not to do. So don't do these. Studying without purpose, just simply taking notes, rote memorization, underlining and highlighting. And the reason that we propose not doing these is because they are not what are tested in your exams. You could spend all your study year doing these things, and you may not be any better off than if you did nothing at all. So instead of using these ineffective, outdated methods of learning, wouldn't it be better if you had a system where as soon as you were asked a question, your mental reflexes were so well trained that the answer came to you immediately? And not only that, but the answer would be exactly what you need to get maximum points. You see, in the Leaving Cert, information is expected to come out of you in a question and answer format. Everything is asked as a question, and then you must answer that question. So for example, like I said, you're always asked a question, and then you must respond to that with an answer. And because of this, it makes sense that information then should go in, or you should learn information in the same way. In other words, if you're being tested in questions and answers, then you should train for your exams in exactly the same way, i.e. in questions and answers. Now, to explain this a little bit better, here are some facts about your Leaving Cert exams. Number one, your exams are in a question-answer format. I keep bringing back to this. And the way that most students learn, taking notes, etc., are extremely effective because they do nothing to help you with the question-answer format of the Leaving Cert. And secondly, 80% of what you will be asked in your exams will have already been asked in a previous exam. So therefore, if you have all the answers to the previous questions, you will only need 10% from the last 20% to get an A1, because an A1 is 90% or greater. And here's one final important point that I want to point out, is that if you organize all of your material by taking notes and not by answering questions, then you're going to make life very difficult for yourself, because when you sit your Leaving Cert, you will be asked to organize the material in an answer format, not in a note-taking format. And what this means is that you're going to have to reorganize everything you have learned on the spot, on the day, in your exam. And chances are that you'll either produce the wrong answer, or you're simply going to be overwhelmed and you'll run out of time. So again, the question that we keep coming back to is, how do I organize information in a way that will allow me to learn what I need to learn so that I can get the grade that I need to get in my Leaving Cert exam? And the answer to this is by learning the answers to the questions that are most likely to come up in your exam. And by doing this, you will develop what's called the question answer reflex. Now, because you will have learned the material in a question and answer format, it's very easy to retrieve the information in a question and answer format. This all comes back to organization. So whenever you see a question, you automatically know the answer, because that is how you have organized the information that you've learned. Remember how important organization is from the last lecture. And it's not only important for what to learn, but we've also discussed it in the how to learn section. Now, this is a very important point, in that all of this does not mean that you're going to have to go and learn your whole textbook or to learn all of your notes. In fact, it means the contrary. It actually means two specific things. Number one, you need to find out the questions that are most likely to come up in your exam. And number two, you need to learn the 100% correct answer for those questions. And basically, guys, that's all it comes down to. That's it. Every single Leaving Cert exam theory or every single Leaving Cert theory exam can be boiled down to those two factors. And if you've gone through the exercises in the How to Learn section, you're going to be able to learn those answers much quicker and much more efficiently. So that was that lecture, and if you understand the question answer reflex, we can move on to the next lecture. If you don't, just go through that again and go through the organization lecture again, because these two things, organization and the question answer reflex, are the foundation of the What to Learn system. So in the next lecture, we're going to look at the method for finding the questions that are most likely to come up in your exams. Obviously, this is hugely important. So again, if you're not quite sure why we're doing this, go through the last few lectures and then move on.